Hey, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through a step-by-step demonstration of how to draw 9 boxes in one-point perspective, just like the image that you're seeing right now. This drawing is done in real time and is designed for you to be able to follow along and keep up with me without any problems. Of course, if you need to pause and rewind, that is totally okay. To work with me on this drawing, you'll need 4 things. First, a piece of paper that is 9 by 12 size. Second, a pencil. Third, a ruler, preferably one that is 12 inches long. And fourth, and finally, an eraser. So, if you have those 4 things, you're all set and ready to go. Let's discover the rules and power of perspective and draw 9 boxes together. Now this piece of paper, as you can see here, is a 9 by 12, and I've got it situated on my desk nice and horizontal. Okay, let's make some measurements, and let's practice some measuring skills. Now I'm going to make a long list of measurements here. Don't measure them quite yet. Okay, here we go. Make sure that's on there. Okay, now that is the list that I want you to use to start your day. For this assignment to turn out successfully, you have to be able to measure accurately and understand the marks on your ruler. So I want you to start right here in this upper left-hand corner, and I want you to go down the side of your paper. I want you to put a mark at each one of these measurements without moving your ruler once you have it in position. Okay, so let's work on that together. So I line up my ruler like this at the top left corner of my paper, okay? And I'm going to hold my ruler carefully like that, and now I'm not going to move it while I make these marks. Okay, so I'm going to go 1/2 inch, 2 1/2, 3 1/2, 5 1/2, 6 1/2, 8 1/2. Okay, and then I'm ready to move my ruler. Alright, measuring skills are important. So let's do the same thing to this side of our paper right here, beginning in the upper right-hand corner. Now when I do it like this, I like to line up my ruler, the right corner, and leave just a little strip of paper to the right, just like this. Okay, now hold your ruler in position so it doesn't slip. Let's make the same measurements. I'm going to go 1/2, 2 1/2, 3 1/2, 5 1/2, 6 1/2, 8 1/2. Okay, excellent. Now I want you to go ahead and connect those marks across your paper from left to right. But there's erasing in your future, so do it for me nice and light. Okay, so I'll start up here, and I'm going to line up my 1/2 inch marks like this, as you can see. Holding my ruler firmly so it doesn't slip, I'm going to draw from left to right with a very light line. Okay, like that. 2 1/2 inch marks. Let's get those lined up. Spread your fingers out across your ruler, pressing down on it. Let's go from left to right, nice and light. 3 1/2 inch marks. Lined up carefully. Left to right. 5 1/2 inch marks. Lined up. Spread your fingers out. Left to right. Okay, 6.5 inch marks. Lined up. Carefully once again. Left to right. Last two measurements, they're 8.5 inch marks. Lined up carefully once again. And go across your page, left to right, as you can see there. Okay, so now we have a series of horizontal lines. Okay, very good. Let's continue. I'm going to take these measurements off and we'll do some more. Let's go this. Let's go 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Okay, that looks good. That looks so much better. Okay, now start right here, upper left-hand corner, but this time I want you to go across the top of your paper. Once again, make those marks without moving your ruler once you have it positioned. So I like to set my ruler like this with just a little strip of paper above my ruler. Okay, it's not going to slip on me now. Let's make those marks. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Then move your ruler. Okay, same thing please across the bottom. Now I like to take my ruler and just set it along the very edge of my paper so my ruler kind of holds my paper down like this. Okay, same thing. I'm going to go 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Okay, now pay attention, and let's start over here with our 11-inch marks, which I have it right here and right here. Okay, now when I line these up, I'm not going to connect them. I want you to look up here and take a careful look, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 lines. Okay, I'm lined up. Now you won't be able to see my line, so just hang on a second. One line's going to go right here. One line right here. Now don't draw yet, just watch. And one line right here. Now take a look. See where I put those 3 vertical lines. And you put yours, of course, in the same place, just like that. Okay, now I want to do the same thing for the rest of my marks. Okay? 9-inch marks right here. By same thing, I mean I'm going to draw the same 3 vertical lines. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Okay, 7-inch marks. Same thing. 1, 2, and 3. Continue to draw light. Okay, 5-inch marks. Same thing. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 3-inch marks. Same thing again. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1-inch marks. Let's do this for the last time. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, good. Now, if it looks like that you have these 3 ladders kind of running across your page like this, and each of your 3 ladders looks exactly the same, you're doing fantastic. Okay, now it's time to take a break from your pencil. Set down your pencil, grab your eraser. Okay, let's go ahead and start erasing here. Now I'm going to start over here on this left side, and I want you to erase for me these 6 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's get rid of those. Now hopefully it takes you about the same amount of time to erase as it does for me. So, we don't want to be in a hurry. We want to work together. We don't want to go, too slow. We just want to work hard. I'm going to go ahead and take these marks off. Remember, there's 6 sections that we're erasing right now. Hopefully you drew light, which makes it very easy to erase. When you're working on a perspective drawing, keep it nice and light. Okay, so as you can see, here's the left side of my paper, and I've erased those 6 sections. Okay, now I'm going to come over here to the right side of my paper, and I want to do the same thing to these 6 sections right here. So, continue with your eraser for me, and let's erase. Learning to draw light is a skill that you should be developing as we move through this class. You may notice how I always kind of put my left hand on my paper so my eraser doesn't grab my paper and wrinkle it. My left hand kind of holds my paper down like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, now that your eraser is warmed up, let's keep on using it. Now, I'm going to draw something up here that you don't need to draw. It's just a reference. If you feel like drawing it, you can. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some light slash marks through some sections that I need to erase. 1, 2, 3, 4. So where I put those slash marks, I need to erase the line. Okay, so I'll set down my pencil and grab my eraser again. And I'm going to start erasing the lines that I put the slash marks through. This will take a minute. I want you to keep up with me, and I want you to erase. And as I said, I hope you're erasing some lines that you drew super light on your paper. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, if we look at our top section, I have 3 boxes, 3 squares. Very good. Now, I want you to do exactly the same thing to the middle section and the lower section. So, get out your eraser, keep working. I will go ahead, so we're not confused, and draw once again the slash marks where I want to erase. Okay, you don't need to draw those marks. You can probably just see where you need to be. Okay, this will take a minute. Let's go ahead and do that. This is a great trip for me down memory lane when I was in junior high school. Notice how I like to set my left hand on my paper too to prevent the wrinkling of my paper. Okay, there's the middle section. You're seeing again the 3 squares in the middle. Okay, and I want to do the same thing to the lower section. Okay, slash marks for reference. If you're, caught up with me or ahead of me, just look over your drawing, make sure you erase carefully, and you can get rid of those if you kindly would. Continuing to erase, as you can see here. Alright, so if you look for me at this drawing that I'm making so far, you can see I have 9 boxes, 9 squares. All of them are exactly the same size as each other, they're all the same size, and they're what I call, they're very boring and two-dimensional. They're missing the third dimension, which is depth. Okay. Now I kind of broke a rule at the beginning of this drawing, which is usually you want to start with your eye level line and the vanishing point. But to make this drawing a little easier and less confusing, I'm going to skip over my eye level until I get to the end. But I do want to locate right now a vanishing point. Okay, and this is where I want to put it. I want my vanishing point to be right here, exactly in the middle of my middle square. Now what I'm going to do is magnify this just a little bit so you can see me do this. Okay. And I want you to use the diagonal method, which you know, to find the middle of this square. So I'll get my ruler like this, and I'm going to line it up diagonally, corner to corner. Now I don't need to connect the corners. I'll just put a light slash mark right there, somewhere near the middle, as you can see. And then I'm going to get my other 2 corners like this. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, now where the lines cross is the exact middle of that square. And I want you to draw for me a small dot, don't make it too big, right where the lines cross. Right there, just a little dot. Okay, I'll take my eraser and I'm going to erase that X like that. Try to avoid the mistake of making that dot too big. You want it just to be nice and small. Okay, see how small that is? Then I want you to put the initials VP right above that dot. Okay, which I'll do right now. VP. That stands for vanishing point, of course. Okay, now let me make this a little smaller for you now. Alright, now like we did with those 4 boxes the other day, we're going to start drawing the corners of our boxes towards our vanishing point. Okay, let's start with this box right here. And I want to start with this upper corner of my box, this one here. And I'm going to line it up with my vanishing point. Very carefully and precisely. Now, I'm going to draw from the corner of my box. If you just looked up here, let me draw this first one with you. But I'm going to stop the line when it hits my center box. I'm not going to go any further. I'm not going to go all the way to my vanishing point. That'll just make me work too much. Okay, now do that for me twice more. This corner and this corner of your box. Okay, it's kind of the same thing we were doing the other day. Corner, vanishing point, draw super light. Stop right there when you hit your center box like that. Okay, let's do that again. Third corner, lined up, and draw carefully, stopping right there when you hit the center box like that. Okay, that looks good. Now, let's do this box right here in the upper center. But this one doesn't have 3 corners that we're going to work with, only 2. 1, 2. Okay, same thing. So let's draw this towards our vanishing point, lightly. Same thing, I want to stop right there when I hit my center box, like that. Okay, corner number 2. Let's get that right here like this. Draw. Excellent. That looks good. Then coming over here to the upper right-hand corner, there are 3 corners, 1, 2, and 3. Same rule. Draw those corners towards your vanishing point. Okay, so here I go like this. Keep in mind these lines should be drawn as light as you can without pressing hard. Stopping when I hit my center box. Corner number 2. Right there. And corner number 3. Those boxes are starting to look 3D to us. Alright, let's move on. Now I want to work with this box right here. This box only has 2 corners that we're going to be able to work with. Corner 1 and corner 2, and we follow the same rule. We draw the corners towards our vanishing point. Okay, let's do that. Line that up carefully, and same thing, just super light. Stopping when you hit your center box. Okay, here I go, like that. Stopping right there. Okay, if you're thinking I want to do the same thing here, you're right, I do. 2 corners. You know, perspective has rules and it's predictable. Like that, and like this here. Alright, then down at the bottom, it's predictable. I want to do 3 corners, 2 corners, 3 corners. And I want to follow the same rule. Draw each corner towards my vanishing point dot. Okay, here I go. Lined up carefully. Stopping right there. Now I like to take my time when I do this, so my corners and lines are lined up very accurately. Corner number 2. And number 3. Okay, lower middle, 2 corners. Like I said, I don't like to lose my students when I do a demonstration. So I usually make a conscious effort just to work slowly and carefully, not fast, so we don't lose each other. Okay, last one right here, lower right corner, and there are 3 corners for me to draw. And corner 2, right there, and corner 3, right there. Now I hope you're noticing how 3-dimensional it's starting to look with all those lines going towards our vanishing point. Now, if you're wondering if we should do something to this box in the middle, the answer is no. We're going to leave that box alone, just like that. Okay, we're ready to move on. Here's the next measurement we need to make. Okay, now that measurement is very important. Find it carefully on your ruler. I'm going to take a minute, since it's so important, to do a quick demonstration for that here. Here is my ruler. 0, 1 inch, The mark in the middle, I've actually marked it on this ruler, 1/2 inch. If you need to mark that on your ruler, feel free to do it. Okay, so now we know the measurement we're looking at. Let's make this smaller. Okay, now listen very carefully. I want you to look for me right here at this bottom corner of this box right here. And what I want you to do is from this corner, I want you to measure straight down exactly 1/2 inch and put a dot there. Now, of course, I'm going to do that right now like this. So I get my ruler, put my 0 mark right on the corner of that box, making sure my ruler is straight up and down. And then all I'm going to do is put a dot right here at 1/2 inch. A little dot right there. Okay, then I want you to come across your paper to the bottom corner of this box right here, and let's do exactly the same thing. So I put my 0 mark on the corner of that box, check my ruler to make sure it's vertical, come down 1/2 inch, and put a dot right there. Okay, now pay close attention. Line up those 2 dots with your ruler, nice and straight across, horizontal like this. Okay, now please do not connect those dots together. I want you to look up here and watch me do it, and then I want you to do it. Okay, spread my fingers out, hold my ruler carefully, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 3 separate horizontal lines for the bottoms of 3 boxes. Okay, so I told you what I'm going to do, now I'm going to show you. One line goes right here. Now don't draw it quite yet, just be patient for a moment. It's hard to see the line with my ruler right next to it. Line number 2, line number 3. Okay, I'm going to move my ruler. You take a look up here, and that's where I want you to draw. Go ahead and do that. Line number 1, line number 2, line number 3 for the bottoms of 3 boxes. Okay. Now I know you're excited to kind of finish off the sides of these boxes. Resist. Don't do that yet. Okay. Let's continue working. Same measurement of 1/2 inch. Let's use it again. This time, let's use it right here. Top corner of this box. Let's go straight up from it. Exactly 1/2 inch. Okay. So I put my 0 mark on that corner like this. Make sure my ruler is vertical. Put a dot right there, 1/2 inch up from the corner. If you're thinking I want to do that right here, you are correct. Let's do that. Top corner of our box right here. Put my 0 mark. Make sure my ruler is vertical. 1/2 inch is right there. Put a little dot there. Okay, line those up for me. Okay, now I want to do again about the same thing. I want to draw 3 separate lines for the tops of 3 boxes. Okay, here I go. 1, 2, 3. Take a moment, look up here, make sure you got those 3 lines. Line number 1, 2, 3. Okay, very good. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. Alright. Let's do our next step. It's a little confusing. Okay. See where these two lines come together and touch right here? I'm just going to put a little dot there, just tiny. And do you see where the lines touch right here also? Line those up with your ruler. Now when I line them up with my ruler like this, my ruler should be nice and vertical, straight up and down. When you're nice and lined up, I want you to draw 3 separate lines for the sides of 3 boxes. Now I'll do that right here, and then I'll move my ruler 1, 2, 3. I move my ruler, and you take a look right there. Okay, those boxes look great. Now, I've got a lot of lines I want to erase soon, but first, let's go over here and do that again. The lines touch right here, and right here. Line them up with your ruler, nice and straight up and down like this, vertical. Look at it carefully. Draw 3 lines. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, there it is. 9 boxes in 1-point perspective. Now, with all these lines on here, it looks super confusing. So let's take a minute, a couple minutes with your eraser, and what we want to do is erase all the extra lengths of vanishing point line that are obviously too long. Okay, well that's going to take me a minute to work on, as it will for you. And I hope once again that you were nice and light when you drew. Now if you're confused about where to erase, you can look up here, and I'll do that here. Like I said, I'm erasing the extra lengths of vanishing point line. When I do that, the boxes become much more clear and easy to see where they are. Okay, so up here, as you can see, I've erased 3 sections of line, like that. Okay, I'm just going to keep working down like this here, go down here. So now I need to do 2 extra sections, get rid of those. On my box here, middle left. Okay, see how that cleans up the box and makes it easier to see? Okay, 3 lines. Let's get rid of 3 right here. Okay, so if I look right here, I've got those nice 3 boxes in perspective. Okay, let's go ahead and start working here in the center area. There's 1 line right there, 2 right there. Okay. Down here. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And of course over here I want to do the same thing, erase 3 lines, 2 lines, 3 lines, which will take a moment here. And I say it again, you know, when you're working in perspective, you have to know that there will always be erasing that you need to do. So you want to keep your lines super light, drawn gently and lightly, of course. Okay, working here, 2 lines like this. And then I've got the 3 lines that I need to get rid of here as well. Okay, that's looking pretty good. All right. However, there it is right there. Notice how 3-dimensional these boxes look. We are missing an important part of a perspective drawing, which is the eye level line. Usually we do that first, but on this assignment I'm doing it at the end. So let's make one more measurement to finish off your day. Okay, so if you're not quite done erasing, I want you to stop erasing. You can do some more erasing in a minute, and I want you to work with me as we put on the last line of the assignment. Okay, here's the measurement that we want to use. Let's use 4.5. Okay, find that carefully on your ruler. I want you to measure it here, upper left-hand corner of your paper. Let's go down the side, exactly 4.5 inches. So here I go, 0 mark lined up with the top of my paper. There's 4.5 right there. Put a little mark there. Same thing over here, upper right corner. There's 4.5 right there. Okay. Now, usually I like to say, line up those 2 marks with your ruler, but this time I'm saying, line up those 3 marks with your ruler. If you've done this correctly, this 4.5 here, this 4.5 here, and this vanishing point dot will all line up along your ruler edge. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see how we did with that. Love it when it works out. Okay, now I want you to draw me 4 sections of line. Okay, the first section is going to go right here. Edge of my paper until I touch my box. Stop. Then I'm going to go right here, box to box. Then right here, box to box. And then right here, box to paper edge, like that. Okay, now that makes it look like the boxes are in front of our eye level. Okay, that line has a name, which I want you to label even right now. Now I'm running out of room right here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to print the word I, very small neat lettering, E, Y, E. I'm going to do that above the line, and then right below the line I'll print the word level, L, E, V, E, L. So, there you go. How did yours turn out? Do you see how you're like a magician with a pencil? Your paper is flat, but it looks like the boxes are occupying space, like they're real and 3-dimensional. Your boxes have height, width, and most importantly, depth. Now that is the power of perspective. Thanks again for watching and drawing. I hope you had a good time and that you learned something. I hope to see you again someday back on my channel. Have a great day, and don't forget to keep on drawing.